Welcome back to another Slush Motorsports podcast. I believe this is episode 10 or 11.
Yep.
We have a very special podcast today. This is very Colorado specific, but I'm sure what we go through can pertain to all of car culture across the U.S., especially me traveling. I've seen a lot across the U.S. and seen the different cultures with the different festivals that we do, like in Tennessee, Arizona. We've done Utah before. But super happy to have these guests on here. They're going to give you a big insight on Colorado's car culture and a lot of history, a lot of background. And without further ado, we have Carlos here with us, Marcus, and Jacob.
How's it going?
And of course, we got Emery here.
What's up, y'all?
My dog. This is your second or third podcast?
I want to say this is my second.
Second podcast.
Because
So we're going to get him on some more podcasts. Emery, he's on the Slush team, and he's big behind the scenes in what we do. So he's definitely someone you want to know.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get started. So this is SLS, right? This isn't your full team, right?
No way.
Okay.
No way.
How many members, like, in total do you guys have?
So Carlos and I, we are the current presidents and owners of SimpleLifestyle, SLS. Jacob here, he is one of our admins amongst the, I'd say 3 other admins we got, and then an actual member group of, I'd say 30 to 40 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys have like a huge team.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
Okay. I never knew that about it. I've always wondered like how many people was behind.
For sure. Yeah. You always kind of wonder.
Yeah.
We got some that are kind of, like in the spotlight and they like to, really make it known. And then we got others just kind of like to stay behind the scenes.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
So,
Yeah.
but we definitely got a good group of people behind us.
Did you guys start it together?
No, I actually started it way back in 2014, Christmas Day, actually.
Uh-huh.
So, prior to that, right, we've been pretty heavily involved in the car scenes, right? We used to go to Nationwide all the time, 1320. Thought it was super cool. Go to school the next day, you know what I mean? And then, one day a group of me and my friends, we kind of got together and we're like, it was actually Christmas morning and we didn't have any of our family to hang out. Everybody was out of town, didn't have family or whatever. So we kind of thought it'd be cool to have kind of a car group gathering where we did like a cruise. I think we went up to like Lookout Mountain.
Okay.
And we kind of just hung out the entire day. And then
That's cool.
after that, we realized that, hey, we should probably just start doing this as like a regular thing now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we started.
That's pretty amazing to hear. Like,
That's kind of how we started.
Well, that's the one thing about like car enthusiasts is they will do anything on any holiday.
It only takes one time.
I mean, like it's so many car enthusiasts out there that I don't know, that's a special moment for people, especially if they don't, have the opportunity to chill with family. They're gonna go to a car meet. Like a lot of it turns into like a family type thing. And you got what, like 40 members, like you just said?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a whole
we consider
family.
ourselves a family.
Yeah, that's a whole family. Yeah.
We do anything for each other, whether it's at the meets or not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I feel you. So how'd you come up with SLS? Simple Lifestyle, right?
You know what, man? Like we were just sitting around like brainstorming, like, man, what kind of name should we put? And I don't know what happened. It was like a buddy of mine. He was like, hey, what about like Simple Lifestyle? And I'm like, Simple Lifestyle? He's like, yeah, because like it's not just a hobby, you know what I mean? It's a lifestyle. And I'm like,
That's true.
yeah, that's low key. That's kind of true.
Yeah.
You onto something,
So
right
yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude. So we just kind of stuck with it and we ran with it.
Okay.
So
So-
now we're here.
Since it's a lifestyle, like what do you guys think it means to be a true car enthusiast? Like being a part of SLS, starting SLS, what does that look like to you guys on a day-to-day basis?
I think that's a really broad question, actually. But I think that for all the people that come out to SLS every Saturday night, and it used to be Wednesdays, which was the craziest part. They were just as big on Wednesdays as Saturday nights.
Middle of the week.
Middle of the week, we'd have 1,200 to 2,000 cars in the parking lot, and it was just like it was mind-boggling. But I think it's the escape from reality, and that's really what we represent. And it's not about judging what people drive, and it's you want to get out. My biggest thing is I didn't know cars. Like in high school, I knew nothing about cars. I didn't know about modding, exhaust, tuning, none of that. I couldn't even drive a manual, and it came down to running into a meet and falling in love with the scene and like making friends. And now it's like, we do this so the new generation has this opportunity as well. We want them to come out, learn about their cars, meet friends, meet new people. And that's why we do it every Saturday.
Yeah. No, that's an important piece that you just touched on. Like And car culture is different from 2014 to where it is today.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
that's like the whole social media boom, the COVID boom. Like
COVID played a huge role.
Yeah, a lot of stuff
Can't
happened
lie.
between that time period.
Mhm.
And car culture changed like a lot. And like you said, people need a place to come,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people lack the education in car culture because they can see it online and then they can go down the street to a meet, you know, the next day
I'd
and
even
go
say,
be part of it, you know?
I'd even say entertainment and media. Fast and the Furious.
Fast and
Too
Furious.
Furious was one of the biggest influences.
That
in
was
my
for
life.
us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was
And
like our
the
generation.
before,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, mind you, I'm 30, so you
Yeah.
know, I feel like a grandpa, but Too Fast, Too Furious is really what kind of was like, wow, cars are cool,
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
seeing Paul Walker's R34 was just like, what is that thing?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
knowing, of course, I'm
Yeah.
like, what is that
Yeah.
thing? That thing's
Yeah.
sick.
You know it looks good.
Yeah,
Naturally, it
it's
already
just like
attracted
I
you.
want
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you guys meet?
So funny story with Carlos and I. We kind of knew each other through the scene a little bit. I was taking a break from the scene when I got introduced to SLS. We actually met at Church Nightclub.
Crazy.
I was
Church nightclub. Is
Church
that,
Nightclub. It's this little nightclub downtown. It's in a church. Yeah.
There's a club in a church.
Yeah.
Oh,
Used to
man.
be a
It
church,
used to
not
be a
church no more.
Not church
yeah.
no more. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It's like all blacked
there
out
was
and everything.
this fight broke out, and I was kind of in the mix of it, and so I was trying to pull this dude off of this dude, and I got shoved to the ground. I look up, and Carlos is standing over me, and we recognize each other. He's like, "Oh, what's up?" And he helped me
Yeah,
out.
we're like, oh, it's Marcus.
And
That's
so
funny.
we just started chatting off of that, and you know, he knew that I'd ran meets before, and basically said, "Hey, do you want to come run meets for SLS?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. You know, I've been on a long enough break. Let's give it a shot."
What year is this?
This is probably like 20. I want to say 18. Yeah, 2018.
right around
2018.
Yeah.
So I started coming out on Wednesday nights and running meets for them. Mind you, I've years in the car scene before that, but nothing like this. And it just took off.
Mhm.
We went from 300-400 car meets on Wednesday nights to realistically, like within a month, we would have 2,000 people out in a parking lot on
That's
a
a lot.
Wednesday night with work
Yeah.
the next day.
That's a lot. Yeah.
And it kind of scared us because we're like, dude, this is a lot of people. Like, I got work at 6 a.m. Like, I don't know
And
if
we
I
were
can do
out
this all
till
day.
like
for
1,
real.
2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
After-
can't just leave. You got your people don't realize when you host meets, you're concerned about everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. I
literally,
can't just
yeah.
up and leave like, all right, y'all have a good night. Like, I
Yeah.
can't, I got to stay out.
I got to be the last one.
I feel like
You
a
know what I mean?
responsibility
Yeah.
to stay
Right.
out for these people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But very quickly, it kept growing. We ended up going from the 2,000 people to the 3 to the 4 on Wednesday nights. And we just realized we can't handle this on a Wednesday night. It's too
Nah,
much.
Yeah.
So Nationwide Productions, the guys who run Sunday nights, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with them.
Yep.
But they said, hey, we have an opening on Saturday nights. ECS, everyone's car scene, was doing meets on Saturdays, and they kind of just stopped doing them.
Mhm.
And they said, hey, do you guys want to take Saturdays? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. And now we have some of the largest night meets out here in the state. And
You
I mean,
definitely do.
our
Yeah.
average meet is
Definitely one of the biggest in the nation too.
4,000 to 5,000 people every Saturday.
Yeah.
Our mega meets and summer kickoffs. Last year we had 12 to 13,000 cars
Yeah, just about.
in a public event. It's
Mhm.
free of charge, you know, and it's crazy how it's grown.
Right.
It's kind of scary, but
Yeah, it gets crazy. Yeah, yeah. How'd you come across these guys?
I was just following the Instagram page a few years ago. Honestly, I moved out here like right as COVID happened.
Okay.
And I didn't have a fast car or nothing. I started working at a dealership, and I started getting faster cars and trying to find out where the meets were. I knew this guy in the service department who would go to like Nationwide,
Mhm.
and I was just like getting Instagrams off him and that kind of thing. And I just kept coming out on Saturdays and getting friendly with everybody. I ended up going to TX2K with them last year. I went this year with them.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very happy to have found this family. You know, it's a nice surprise.
Yeah.
My
Good
entire
too,
friend
man.
group, my entire friend group has based off the car scene.
That's
like
amazing. That's good to hear.
I got a Thursday night group that I hang out with, and we just drink, and you know, I wouldn't know them if I didn't go to SLS meets. You know,
Right.
and
Right.
uh,
It definitely changes people's lives.
absolutely
For
It does.
the better.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Especially you coming from out of state.
yeah.
Yeah. So
My
that's
network
hard
is
for,
huge.
Yeah, it's hard for some people to network and get their feet kind of wet in new states like that.
Right.
And I've seen that in a couple of our people, in like our SLS members.
Yeah.
You know, we got one of our guys, Jordan. You know, he just moved out here and he's just started coming around the meets, and he's been in the group for 2-3 months, and he's one of our admins now.
Oh wow.
I mean, he's dedicated. He
Right.
comes out every weekend. He's enforcing rules. He's playing the part, and he does what we need our people to do.
Right.
And he's great with everyone who comes out, like the general public.
Yeah.
You know, he's never aggressive. He's just, hey,
Yeah.
can't be revving it to meets.
Yeah,
Let's save it for later.
because we all know running meets, there's a level of like responsibility that
Yeah.
There
you kind
definitely
of have
is.
to
Oh, yeah.
uphold,
Especially when
you
they're
know?
as big as how they be at that,
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
you're responsible for a lot of people there, and you know we're the one who caused all these people here.
Yeah.
So we want
Exactly.
to make sure everybody leaves the way they came.
And it's
Yeah.
not like you know every person either.
No.
No,
for
no
sure.
way.
Definitely.
We don't.
We try our best to
I try,
say
yeah.
hi,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Exactly.
it definitely gets hard.
Yeah, like if people come up and talk
Yeah.
to me, like I got to see your face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'll talk
Or it's
to
the
anybody.
like, what do you drive again? Oh, I drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
drive
know
the Evo.
people.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
by the
what's up?
cars.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you tried that. I remember you. Yeah.
So what does it take for someone to join SLS, or what do you guys look for?
You
know,
know,
We've actually been talking about this lately.
yeah. This
Like
is,
what makes you qualified? You know what I mean?
Well, it's more about passion, passion and presence. If anybody can go lease or buy some crazy car, or that's cool.
Right.
And please come out to the meets, bring your car. We'd love to see it. But that doesn't, we're more about character.
Yeah.
When you see a kid drinking a shooter in the parking lot, we want you to go stop it. Because we're trying to keep everybody
People take
safe,
initiative.
trying to control the chaos,
Right.
which is something Marcus was mentioning earlier before we started. We want you to be there for the car scene, not just to show your car off and
Hang out with your buds.
and just get the spots early. We don't
And
want
honestly, I would say shout out to the people who aren't a part of a crew or anything that do take
Yes.
initiative like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
Say, like,
appreciate it.
oh,
100%.
Those
We
are the
love car
saviors.
culture.
Love
That
you
we're
guys.
gonna
Yeah.
stand
Seriously.
up for what's right. So
Mhm.
we definitely appreciate people like
Yeah,
that.
for real.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say that like based off what he's saying, it's your character.
Yeah.
I really don't care if you drive a 1,000 horsepower vet. Like that's great. There's clubs out there that their focus is power. They want to be the fastest crew in Colorado. Good for you guys. That's y'all's thing.
It's
Like,
specific-
Nothing
it's a
wrong
niche.
with that
Yeah,
either.
it's a
And that's
specific
sick.
niche.
yeah, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
It definitely brings some competition to the table. But
Mhm.
for us being how large we are, it is the character aspect.
Mhm.
If I see some random dude on a Saturday night telling people, hey, you can't be revving here, that's the person I want on my team.
Right.
You're taking the initiative out of these thousands of people in the parking lot to come say what's up and
Mhm.
tell these guys, hey, these are the rules. This is what you got to do.
Right.
So I think that's key.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. So let's get to the nitty gritty.
I love
when
it.
it comes to
I like the nitty-gritty.
car culture.
Okay.
2014. I mean, you guys been in car culture before that.
Mhm.
Let's talk about some of the rises and some of the falls of previous car groups. within
Oh, yeah.
Colorado.
Okay.
One you mentioned was ECS.
Mhm.
Another one you mentioned was
1320.
1320.
1320cc.
We had DKC.
Ooh.
Any of those you guys want to talk?
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I'll touch base on all of them.
Yeah. Like why? Yeah, why were they successful? And what led them?
1320cc was actually a group that I was a part of. I ran some of their events at night for them. Huge shout out to Manny. I think that what some of us fail to realize and what some of the people in the scene fail to realize is that we're humans too.
Mhm.
Some of us have the regular 9 to 5. Some of us do this for a living. And we're at the end of the day, we're human. I mean, for me, I've given up about a quarter of my adult life to the car scene as my primary hobby. I don't have another hobby. So my weekends, this is it. I don't get to go out and go fishing or, go build a surfboard or something, go on trips. I mean, it's been 3 years since I took a
Yeah.
vacation. I finally just got back from my first vacation in 3 years, but this is my hobby. And it takes a lot out of someone. But back to 1320, that was the Friday night group. Like that was a spot to be on Friday nights for the car scene. And I think that the lead organizer just, he got older and, realized it was time to settle down. And I know it took a lot out of him. And he got tired, and I think that can be the downfall of a lot of groups out here. Moving on to DKC. I'm not going to go into details about it. I know the details, but, I think there were a lot of bad decisions made that caused the downfall of that group. And they had some good people in that group. But unfortunately, when you're in the spotlight of running, groups like Los Unidos or DKC or Nationwide Productions or SLS, you are in the spotlight. It's not only the public that looks at you. It's the city council, it's the governor, it's law enforcement.
Sometimes y'all are on the news.
We're on
Everybody
the
sees you.
news.
Yeah.
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 And I think that you also have to remember when you run an event this size every single week, all eyes are on you.
Right.
Yeah, you got to
One-
practice what you preach.
One slip up, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Well, let's talk about the pressure. There's a lot of pressure behind hosting meets because there's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
You got to deal with people who showed up, the people who showed up, the people who showed up with their cars, the people who showed up with their kids,
Yep.
police, people that are just trying to get home.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
there's so many different people that you have to, your own team. Like there's so many different interactions going on when you're hosting a meet.
Right.
That it's a
Yeah.
lot of pressure, and you want to make sure everyone's safe too at the same time.
Right.
What are some of the challenges that someone could deal with when it comes to hosting night meets?
I mean, a lot of it has to do with, I would say a good 80% of the car scene, 80 to 90% of the car scene obeys all the rules. Not showing up to the spot early, letting we have vendors that come out, so taco trucks and drinks and energy drink companies, and they like to set up ahead of the meet so they're ready to go.
their
and
space.
Yeah, and,
Right.
and we always show up early. Sometimes I'm an hour early ahead of the meet, to make sure I can plot out where the vendors need to go, where, if there's going to be a large group of bikes out, we know where we can put the bikes without it, them getting, hit by people in the parking lot. But I think that the other percentage of the people that don't abide by the rules makes it really hard.
Yeah.
So when you get, and running slush during the daytime, I'm sure you get these people too, come out and they want to do donuts or they want to peel out the lot and do flybys.
Right.
Yes.
It makes it hard. And don't get it twisted. I'm all for it. I love it. I think there's organized chaos and uncontrolled chaos.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Slush Motorsports Festival.
Time and a place.
Yeah, there's a time and a
time and
place.
a
I
place.
say that
Yeah.
every weekend.
Yeah.
But, what happens is when these people come out and they do these burnouts or they two-step or they swing their cars, they're not, cool. You might look cool. That's great.
To some people.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people,
To
yeah.
some people,
To
it might
the,
look
to,
sick.
to the people who have a lot of experience in car culture, they look at it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how we see it. We're like, there's a time and a place.
Right.
Right.
And we'll get to that later in the podcast, but
Mm.
I believe in uncontrolled and controlled chaos. I would say that SLS is a controlled chaos group, because we do at some points allow that type of stuff, but it's not in the vicinity of the public, the general public on roadways, intersections. We don't do that. We don't condone it. We also never condone street racing. We all know what happens at night meets. Okay. But at the end of the day, what we have to learn to preach and we have to practice what we preach is that driving is a privilege. It's not a right.
Yeah.
So when you're behind that wheel and you're going on a cruise with us, it's your decision. Whatever you do on the highway is on you. So we definitely try to preach safety, but the people who come out, it really makes it hard.
Yeah.
The people who break the rules who come out. That's what makes it hard.
Yeah, and it's always that small percentage.
It really is.
Because it's one person does something,
And then
then
it
it's a
like
whole
waterfalls.
ripple effect,
Yeah.
And people just start to think that is okay.
I hate that
They do.
too because one thing that bothers me so much about that is it's that small percentage and they ruin it for everybody,
Everybody.
For
literally.
everybody,
And you're so frustrated and upset that it's going on, but then you feel bad for the people who really are abiding by the rules and all that.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
dang.
And it gets hard.
It's
with-
influence too.
It is that, but it gets
Yeah.
hard then because and I'm sure you've had to approach people who are doing it at your meets.
Yeah.
We try to approach people, but we always have to remember, hey, this is a night meet. We don't know the demographic of people out here. We don't know who we're about to talk to. So you always have to go and talk to them with your guard up.
Yeah.
And I've taught my guys, you never go looking for a problem. You don't go to press somebody about doing a burnout.
Right.
It's like, hey man, I love your car. It sounds great, but not right now. Don't do the
Please.
spot. There's a time and a place, bro.
Right.
The way I do it, usually I ask and try and educate them first. And then, I kind of gauge, what
The
the
reaction.
experience is.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the car meet.
And some of them are respectful and
Yeah.
are like, you think about it and they're like, honestly, my bad, bro.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have did that. And then there's the ones that will tell you, oh yeah, I wouldn't do that, da da da. And then the next minute they're doing
They
it.
do it
doing it
again.
And
again.
you're just
Yeah.
like,
Or they'll
Cool.
think it's okay because they're like, oh no, it's okay, I'm leaving. And I'm like,
But
well,
you want to know
you
that
know what I mean?
doesn't what doesn't make sense to me? It's like you like going to the meets,
Right.
you like car culture,
Mhm.
but you're doing the same thing that'll also ruin it and not allow you to show up to something like that.
To these
Right.
You
meets.
want to
Exactly.
be there,
Right.
Yeah.
but it's
you
like
want these meets, but
you
you're
also
willing
want to
break the
destroy
rules.
it. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
It's no common sense. to
all
that
for
to
a
me.
20-second clip.
And a lot of what people don't realize is we spend like a majority of our free time, trying to lock down a spot for
Right.
for everybody so we
Yeah.
can have a
As
meet.
soon as you lose one spot, dude,
Yeah.
it's like you wasted so much
It's a
time.
pain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And for us, we spend our personal money from our 9 to 5s.
100%.
We don't make money. I wish I made money off this. Like I was a hourly employee or something to run meets, but we don't. So we take our personal money to pay for insurance and permits and
Mhm.
even properties just to even have an hour meet.
Right.
And so when someone comes and, jacks it up, it's just like,
Just slap in
It's
the
like,
face.
you
it's a
have
slap.
no
Like,
idea.
there goes my
You know what I
paycheck.
mean?
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's just a lot that people don't know. They look at it
Mm-mm.
from the surface level, but if you really
They don't
dive
think
deep
about it
into
like
what
that deep.
Mm-mm.
goes on, like
Behind the
then
scenes.
you would have a different type of respect.
Oh
for it,
yeah.
for sure. Like,
We've had
yeah.
an admin who loves. He's still in the group, but he was like, I can't be an admin because this is another job.
It is.
Like outside of my
Yeah.
9 to 5,
People-
I can't do this.
when we're at our meets, like I love cars, but I don't get to enjoy it as if I wasn't at my
Right.
own meet.
Right.
you're
Like
Yeah.
the other night I went to Cap, they had a
Oh,
meet.
awesome
But
meet,
it's
yeah.
more relaxing because
Yeah.
Because you're going as a spectator.
now I
Yep.
get to enjoy.
I'm not
walk
running
around.
it.
Yeah,
I
like
got to do all
yeah.
that.
Not my problem. Like they
it's
know what
taken
they're
care
doing.
of.
Exactly.
Yeah. But then when you're doing it, it's
You're always on
You're
edge.
walking around with your head cut off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's like there's just so many variables, so many things going on.
and
It's
it's
like
hours upon hours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 And a lot
Just
of
all
times I don't
night.
even eat.
I even
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
him it's like back in the day, when I first started doing meets, like I had a different view of it and just like liked it in different ways.
Mhm.
Now it's like now I got to run it, so it can get repetitive in some ways, and I have to like dig back deep into like my love for what I do and
Yep.
everything. But
Yeah,
it's like
feel it.
you have to like take it day by day.
Because you got to see every side of car culture.
Exactly.
See every side.
Every side.
100%.
You deal with
You
the
know?
bad, you deal with the good, you deal with
Mhm.
the medium, like
Yeah.
Deal with law enforcement.
everything,
Yep,
yeah.
Everything.
yeah,
Exactly.
Yep.
Hey,
Man.
law enforcement, man.
Oh, dude.
yeah. You guys,
This is
you
my
guys,
favorite topic.
You guys met with the police quite a
Yeah.
few times.
Yeah.
Well, I have some questions about this. 'Cause I
What's it?
remember during COVID, there was a lot of takeover stuff going on,
Mhm.
a lot of police stuff going on.
Mhm.
Car meets were probably booming at the time.
Oh,
Honestly.
yeah.
That's
Boom.
when
With
we
no,
actually
with
like
no cars
blew
on the
up.
public streets.
That's when
yeah.
the takeovers were booming too. Dude.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was getting
Yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
The highway.
And then that's when things were getting confused. Went on the news channel of car meets doing the takeovers, but that wasn't
Yep.
the reality.
Mhm.
And even the PD started pushing back on that.
and
Oh, yeah.
everyone.
I know you
and
guys
everyone
dealt
who's-
with that heavy. What was that like? What was that time period like?
You
My
know,
bad. What
No,
were
you're
you
good.
saying?
Everyone who was on the road and doing takeovers and stuff,
mhm.
they were all street racers.
Yeah.
They were calling everybody street racers.
Yeah,
I
and,
didn't
and this
like
this
that.
is a
Yeah.
point we have fought with law enforcement across the state for years, classifying the street scene versus the takeover scene,
Yeah.
and it just the street officers know, the guys who respond and come out and actually talk to us in person at these events, they know the difference. But it's the top brass, lieutenants, LTs, captains, commanders, chiefs, they don't care.
They're not in the field like that.
Mm-mm, no.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, we have.
You
met
know what I
with-
figured out? What the reality is like the residences are calling the cops
Mhm.
because they hear you don't even have to be going fast.
No.
They just hear a loud exhaust and they think
it's
everyone's
racing.
Street racing.
Yeah.
Or a lot
So-
of them think it's gunshots from the backfires and
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Plenty of shots fired
So
calls.
then,
Yeah.
so then we get stuck in this position where it's the cops, and the people who are at the car meet,
Mhm,
and the community people who live there.
mhm.
And the cops are always gonna stick with the community because they live there. This episode is brought to you by Endless Garage, opening spring 2025. Endless Garage is where luxury cars, high performance maintenance, and premium vehicle storage come together. Discover Club Endless, an exclusive space for car enthusiasts, and indulge in the unforgettable Driven Steakhouse. Endless Garage isn't just a place, it's an experience. Visit endlessgarage.com to learn more. Link below. No, that's so that causes a lot of, even though we're doing good and no one's acting out of line,
Right.
like they still come first.
And circling back to your point of what we dealt with, first and foremost, I'm a huge supporter of law enforcement, okay?
Mhm.
And I say that because they are humans too. This is the profession they chose to do
Right.
for their own different reasons. Does it mean I agree with some of the decisions they make? No, not at all. But at the end of the day, we have to deal with them. So I'm not going to approach them with animosity or with a biased opinion.
Right.
We actually had a sit-down meeting, a roundtable with, oh my God, how many departments? I think it was like
It was a pretty good chunk of them.
15 departments
Mhm.
from across the Front Range. We'd had this roundtable meeting at Lakewood Police Department. They brought in all their top brass, so no street officers who have actually met me. All their commanders and chiefs. The old Aurora chief was there. Chief Art, he's no longer with Aurora, but
Yeah.
some of the chiefs were there. And instead of it being, what I thought would be, us sitting all at one table and coming up with ways to combat street racing and find a neutral ground for us to host meets, but also make it easier on them, it wasn't that. It was kind of I would say, an assault style intervention meeting.
Yeah.
So they brought us into this room And in the middle of this room was this tiny little table. It was us and Nationwide Productions, and
That's
around the
definitely an
room,
interrogation room.
it was literally
sounds
like a
crazy.
giant interrogation, and they had each department sitting, looking down on us, while they just basically said, "What you guys are doing is wrong. All the groups, all the meets, Monday through Saturday, Monday through Sunday, whatever it is,
Right.
you guys are all in the wrong here." And so we finally asked them, "Okay, so how do we do it right? What do you want us to do this right?" Permits. They want us to go get permits. Okay, cool. And we try to explain to them, "Hey, permits, and their justification is permits are like $50.
Mhm.
Well, the part they don't tell you is that $50 turns into $500 if you're over 100 people. Oh, and then if you're over 200 people, you got to pay for porta potties. Oh, if you're over 500 people, you got to have insurance and off-duty officers." And so that $50 for our events, at least, quickly turns into about $4,000, $5,000 for
That's
1
facts.
hour.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's
not feasible.
We ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. The street scene's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So why would we take our hard-earned money and do that every single weekend? We just can't afford it.
Especially if we're not
But-
making money off this.
The moral of the story with law enforcement is that we try and try and try, and I know the day groups do this as well, to establish that really good relationship with whatever department it is. And that's why we post publicly. We put the rules down for the public, and we post publicly so the law enforcement can come and attend our events and monitor them. But
Right.
we're still kind of in a love-hate with some departments out here.
For sure.
Definitely.
What's that relationship like?
Some people just won't have us.
Yeah, some
Like-
some cities just won't even allow it.
Yeah, we 2-3 weeks ago we went to
Longmont.
Longmont,
Mhm.
and within 5 minutes of being there, 4 cops were running through the lot saying to get out. If we stay, we're gonna get trespassed. All that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's a shame because Longmont used to be great. We used
Yeah.
to host meets up there all the time.
I was about to say, from my experience of hosting meets, the north side is hard.
It is
hard.
definitely
very
hard.
hard.
Very
Well,
hard.
For me, it got hard because of COVID. COVID happened, and then it was like, what is going on up north? Like the cops are treating us a little
Too much
different.
activity.
So
There
I
was
want to
one-
know like what really happened. Like,
There was one event,
yeah,
and I
that's
think
what I'm trying to figure out.
I think I know what
It
you're
was a
talking
bunch of
what I'm
SWAT or
talking about.
something?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there was
Oh,
one
my
event,
God.
and to this day, I will stand by this event.
Mm.
A long time ago, a couple of years back, it was during COVID. Nationwide Productions had this meet up off of Highway 7 I-25. There's like a Home Depot and a B-Dubs, and there's great parking lots. There's no apartments, no houses, so it's like the perfect spot for cars to show
Right.
up and hang out. I guess one of the Thornton PD lieutenants or one of the captains showed up and started talking to these Nationwide guys and was really rude, really disrespectful, just not wanting to hear it, talking down on the host, and actually assaulted one of the hosts by, shoving the door on him. And that's, to each their own, whatever you guys want to perceive it as. But the guys who run Nationwide are some of my best friends. And I took it upon myself, and I basically said, listen, there's such thing as my original point, organized chaos and unorganized chaos. Would you guys prefer to have these groups that meet in a parking lot with the manager's permission to be at the property for an hour, sometimes less? Or would you rather have all these small groups that, no one knows about, they don't post transparency on their pages, tearing up streets, intersections? Which would you rather have? And so we had a meet where we basically called everybody in the state out. No matter what the car club was, takeover group you were in, no matter who you were coming together as one. And we gotten permission for this property off 58th and I-25, the Denver Merchandise Mart. It's no longer around, but we showed up. We posted publicly. We let everybody know we were coming. We got the permission, and we showed up, and we filled the lot. And then next thing you know, you got Colorado State Troopers rolling in. You got Adams County Sheriff's Department SWAT, Bearcats rolling in. They put spike strips down at the entrance, and they actually started ticketing people who were leaving the meet. They would not let anyone leave. You had to line up and pull out and get a trespassing ticket. Some of the fast boys, the GTR boys, they got tickets. And they were hitting me up like, what is this? And I was trying to figure it all out. And I actually approached some of the SWAT officers, and I'm like, you guys can't do this. This is the reason why you guys are having problems. Oh, we're here to combat street racing. Okay, but this is the reason why people in the car scene don't like law enforcement. You're automatically giving people tickets for parking in a parking lot that we have a written permission to be at.
Yep.
Make it make sense. So, and they're like, we don't even want to hear it. So then they're soliciting trespassing because the property manager didn't tell them to trespass us. And that's a whole legal route. But
Right. Yeah. That's a
it
that
ended
makes
up
sense.
turning into all these attendees got so angry, and including myself. And these people hit the streets to the city of Thornton and just completely took it over.
Yeah.
People were shutting down intersections, parking lots. The highway got shut down. And there was, and I always found this interesting, there was a 50% of the Colorado car scene who totally agreed with us, and a 50% who was like, this was the worst thing that's ever happened.
Right. I remember
And,
that.
and
Yeah.
to this day,
Yeah.
I will 100% stand by what we did and what we hosted because of the uncontrolled chaos and controlled chaos
Right.
theory. You know,
And
I
then
would.
do you think after that's when Thornton?
I
and all them
do.
changed?
You know, and I think.
And they aren't willing to even talk because I
No.
know you guys reached out.
They
or
won't
you
talk to
guys
us.
Wanted to
Um,
make amends or
Yeah,
whatever
you know,
wanna call it, yeah.
but we had a lot of other departments reach out after that,
Okay.
and they were like, we understand and we see your viewpoint and we agree.
Yeah.
We would rather deal with you guys than these unknown little groups.
Well, it's not even. It's in the sense of SLS has a voice.
Yeah.
Right? So
Oh, yeah.
people listen to you. If you want something done, you work with SLS because they're the voice.
Yeah.
They're not going to listen to you guys.
Mhm.
That's just how it goes. You take SLS out, you get 5 to 10 other smaller groups. Then now it's less
It's
control.
your problem, yeah.
And people aren't taking responsibility how we
Mm-mm.
take care of responsibility. You know, like how we care about car culture. Like there's people who do host meets and they don't understand like the power that they have behind that and
Mhm.
people's safety.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
they misuse it. So it's good to be in hands of like Nationwide,
Oh yeah.
SLS, like, and I always say you can't eliminate the problem,
No.
but you can mitigate it.
Right.
Of course.
And that's what we're always trying to do
Yeah.
is mitigate it. And then when one little thing happens at a meet, like you receive the feedback,
Oh yeah.
you get the backlash,
Oh yeah.
and people will be like, "Oh, SLS sucks," or like, "I hate going to night meets," or "I hate going to Nationwide," or "I hate going to Slush because of this." Like, those things actually have an impact on us in a certain way because of how hard we work
Mhm.
to
Right.
try and push the right rules.
I always think it's
Yeah.
funny when I see people, whether it's on podcasts or just on their personal Facebook pages, where they're like, "Oh, the night meets suck." Well, I don't forget 2 years ago when you were out every single night, Friday, Saturday,
Right.
Sunday. I don't forget
Right.
it, and I get that some people grow out of it, but at the end of the day, there's a new generation of car enthusiasts every month.
No,
It's
by the
every
day.
day
Yeah.
at this
Yeah,
point.
just because of social media.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I would rather take the responsibility myself to educate this.
educate them.
Yeah, to educate this
That's
generation
exactly what I tell people.
when
Yeah.
they come out, so they understand now going forward. Oh, this is how I act at
Yeah.
the meets. This is how the meets go. Than having some random group pop up on a Saturday if we were to just totally stop hosting meets and it's just downhill.
Yeah, who's gonna educate them?
Yeah.
If SLS isn't educating, if Slush isn't educating, if Nationwide's not educating, we also hold each other accountable as well.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Like
There's been some times.
there's been some times, and the first time I actually met all of the other groups was actually a big meeting where everyone
Mm-hmm.
had differences, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on
like,
here?"
yeah. Why is everyone so indifferent?
Yeah.
Right.
There was a lot of differences going
Oh,
on.
yeah.
There's a lot of challenges, but there is that behind the scenes thing where people hold each other accountable.
Oh yeah.
for
I
sure.
think that if one group messes up, that there's a bunch of other groups holding them like, hey, nah, you shouldn't have done
you
that.
shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
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 And that was the case with the whole Thornton thing too. We had a couple groups reach out to us and they're like, y'all shouldn't have done that. But we explained our reasoning and some of them were receptive. Some of them were just like, nah.
Yeah.
You know,
From
but-
my side, me not knowing what happened,
yeah.
I just seen the effect.
Yep.
And then when I started doing meets in Thornton, they were like, "Nah," and I was like, "What?" Like, we were just fine,
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago or whatever.
Mhm.
But now it's good to know the story because
Yeah.
I understand. Like, I never had the chance to speak to you about
And
that.
the
so
funniest
that's
part was that after this all went, right before this went down,
Mhm.
right before we even posted the address, Thornton PD reached out to, no one knows this, by the way, so this is like insider information. Thornton PD reached out to Nationwide, and they're like, hey, come sit down with our chief. We are super sorry. We're going to sit you down with this captain that you guys dealt with. Like, just call them off. Tell them no. Like, don't do it. And Nationwide they kept it 100, bro. They were like, this is the cause and effect. This is what happens when you mess with the car scene and you guys don't fix it right then and there.
Mhm.
You guys took a week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks later, I think we did this. You guys took 2 weeks to finally reach out to us, say, hey, this was wrong of our officer to do. Call it off. It's out of our hands. And so after the event, they reached back out to Nationwide and were like, hey, this officer's going to apologize. This isn't that. And that all went down like good and dandy, but time and a place.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
I get what you're saying. You have anything you want to add to that?
I will never forget it. It was actually my birthday that day.
Oh, it's your
so
birthday.
yeah, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane to say the least.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, COVID was a different time period, but it was really cool
Yeah.
because there was less people on the road, less people.
It was great.
And it was like car enthusiast world.
Oh, dude, like Monday 4 p.m. just no traffic on the
Yeah.
road. I was like, oh,
It was the perfect
man.
solution. You don't got to get out the car.
Exactly.
You're in your own car. You're safe. You're not gonna get sick.
Man, I caught a
Mhm.
couple
Or at least
tickets
we
during
thought
that
so.
time. I got a couple
did.
tickets during
Yep.
that time. Yeah,
You definitely did. Yeah.
they were out. Yeah,
You know, we did some live events during the COVID
did.
time. We did
Yeah.
some live events.
Like scavenger hunt.
cat and mouse
type things,
scavenger
cat and
hunt.
mouse, Yeah.
Cat and mouse was by far the most popular. And I always think the funniest thing to this day was that we've had some Denver police officers approach us and be like, "You guys remember when you guys did cat and mouse back during COVID?" And we're like, "No." And they're like, "Dude, we would watch it all the time. Like, we'd be on shift, like
That's awesome.
parked, and we'd
Yeah.
try to catch you guys on the
Yeah.
highway so we could see it.
Yeah.
It was a blast."
that's cool.
Now that you mentioned that, like, a lot of cops are car enthusiasts,
Oh yeah.
A lot of
and a lot of cops are just doing their job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's also that fine line.
Oh yeah.
We've had both at the meets.
So
Yeah.
how deep, in your perspective, does it get when it comes to changing policy or changing how everything operates around car meets?
I got something to say. I think that like how we were saying earlier, how there's at our meets when someone starts revving or does a burnout, that bad apple ruins it for everybody. And I think that there's a few bad apples within some police departments, but a majority of the cops are great people. They come
Okay.
out to the meets, they say hi, they're cool with talking with us about it. And if I hate when it's not F the police. The police are great people. They come out, they help us control the chaos.
Mhm.
And I'm appreciative of that. I
For
think
sure.
that there doesn't need to be a policy change. I think that they just need to be trained properly. They need to understand what we're actually doing.
Community policing
Yeah.
is a huge part of this role with the car scene.
Yeah.
Understanding that it's okay to come out, park your car, pop your hood. We know it's an ego boost. Pop your hood. The kids
I
love
don't
it.
know. They
Yeah.
got the Mustangs now. They got all
Yeah,
types
CSP,
of
yeah.
If those ones pull
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I
State
pref-
Patrol.
yeah.
Yeah, they got some
I
stuff.
prefer when the cops show up, honestly,
Mhm.
because they do help some more of that controlled chaos, especially when people are
Oh,
rolling
yeah.
out and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I've had the cops that come up to me and are like, "Hey, y'all need to get the hell out of here right now," or the ones that are like, "Hey, man, like we're getting a lot of calls right now.
Mhm.
Like if you guys could start heading out. There's just a whole different way to
Yeah.
come at something.
I think
Right.
it's funny. A lot of people make fun of me for this, but if you're ever at an SLS meet and you see the cops pull up, 9 times out of 10, you will see me running through the parking lot to go talk to
go
them.
talk
to
Yeah.
them, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got my arm up, and 9 times out of 10, they know who I am already. They're like,
Right.
"Hey, are you
Yeah.
Marcus?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah."
Yep.
And they're like, "Hey, we don't have a problem with this as long as everyone behaves."
They got your
Right.
name on a list somewhere.
Oh,
or something.
Of
something.
course. Yeah.
Something. They got my
Phone number,
address,
yeah,
phone number,
address, yeah.
email.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, when something doesn't go the right way at a meet and police do have to get involved, guess what? They're talking to you guys.
Yep.
They're asking your name,
I usually
your
save,
address.
I save my
all your
Sunday mornings for
information,
phone calls,
I've,
bro.
yeah,
I
I've
really
received
do.
a couple of letters in the mail, and
Yep.
they know where we live for sure.
So
Oh, yeah.
when you see people so passionate about, when you're breaking the rules, it's because you're actually affecting their real lives. Like you can.
Yeah.
I've had Arapahoe County sheriffs knock on my door asking about meets Sunday morning because someone wanted to do a fat burnout and they high centered their truck on a median, or there was an accident on I-25 and they're trying to figure out if it correlated with the meet.
Mhm.
So all the decisions that you guys make, it does affect us, unfortunately,
Right.
but we deal with it the best that we can.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot going
There's a
on,
lot.
and I think a big thing nowadays is the young bucks.
Yeah,
Obviously,
definitely.
like you said, they're not educated yet and all
Mhm.
that. And man, I try to have patience for them, dude. I
They don't
really
see the bigger
do.
picture.
Yeah, they just like it makes sense because I finally got there, but it's like we really do keep developing until we hit a certain age, you
Yeah.
know, and it just takes people longer to grasp certain things and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So I guess besides just what you guys already enforce at the meets, like how and what level do you go to try to educate these people?
We've even gotten to the point when people are breaking the rules too much and we're dealing with a lot of fallout, we'll just not have a public meet.
Yep.
And it really gets the attention of,
Mhm.
like you said, the
Because
young
then they're
bucks.
like, oh, why aren't we?
Because then they're like, oh, why aren't we having a meet? Well, here's why. Because people want to break A, B, and C.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you guys can control yourselves, we'll go back to having public meets. But
And
we'll shut it down and take a night off.
And in reality, like when stuff happens, we like to handle things behind the scenes.
Yeah, 100%.
versus publicly.
Yeah.
And usually the offender, like that's good for them because if we did publicly blast them,
Oh.
the internet would tear them up.
They
Yeah.
would.
They really
We've
would.
seen it
Yeah,
happen.
I've seen it happen.
They would.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes I even give them the option. I'm like, look, you either take these circumstances or we can ask the community what they think about what you did, and
Mm-hmm.
what they say goes, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people who do care about this community. It's
Yeah.
not just us.
Oh yeah.
So
But we'll stop hosting meets altogether.
Yeah.
Seriously, and yeah, it sucks because we like going out on Saturday nights
Yeah.
and doing this.
And
But
it especially sucks for the people who didn't do anything.
yeah,
Exactly.
That's one thing.
and I
hate.
think, but that's the biggest teaching lesson is to educate your peers. If you see someone
Yeah.
doing something wrong,
Seriously, speak
educate
up.
them. Like, hey, bro, don't do that here.
Yep.
Time and place. Now, on that, the time and place thing, I do think that there is a time and place to do burnouts and donuts.
Right.
I'm not saying to do it at intersections, but there's definitely a time and place. If you guys want to touch on that, we can
well,
definitely.
let's talk about DKC. That's what they used to do in Colorado.
Yep.
Right? Like that was their specific thing, isn't it? What was it? Drag.
Drag Kings, Colorado.
And what
yeah.
about 1320? That was their thing too.
That was more of like a Mexico thing,
Mexico.
like going out and doing digs. Yeah.
Yeah. So same thing. DKC would do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So like, there used to be more groups like that back then. I would
Yeah,
say.
I'd agree.
Um,
Yeah.
And they would control it in a way that's good for the community
Right.
versus, like you said, going to do it in an intersection because
Mhm.
they would go far away
Oh yeah, they go out
and
east.
where no one is at.
Yeah.
You know?
And you wouldn't have to go
Yeah.
as far because we didn't have as much stuff built.
Yep.
Now it's,
Now
like
it's
it's
all developed.
stuff.
Yeah,
Everything,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Everything's developed and it makes
Yeah.
it harder.
Yeah. And then now you got racetracks closing down. Like,
Oh,
there's a
dude.
lot of pressure.
Vandermeer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That hurt.
it's tough. But I don't know. I would think that I like to be transparent, man. We allow that stuff later on in the night. Okay. Do we condone it? No. Do we actively tell people, hey, Mustang, go do a burnout? No, we don't
No.
do that.
Never.
Exactly.
But the harsh reality is that when you have these souped up cars and you got sticky tires or whatever it may be, or you know how to power slide, that itch is always going to be there. I would much rather see these guys do it out in a
More safe
empty,
environment.
yeah, in an empty parking lot in the warehouses out east where there's no civilians,
Yeah.
there's no public parking, and I'd rather see them get it out for an hour than to see them doing takeovers in the middle of Broadway and Spear. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
I would much rather deal with
100%.
the liability on that.
100%.
So one solution I've seen across the nation between different car groups, they all want one specific place where they can go do that.
Yep.
Didn't that used to be on the table in the past or something that?
It is on the table actually.
Okay, what's going on with that?
So we're looking at building, I guess, an SLS headquarters, essentially like a hangout spot for everyone, an event center for people who want to do. It's out there, car themed weddings, but just an event space, a place where if you got the day off, you ain't got nothing to do, you come hang out, watch a movie, play some video games, whatever it may be, buy some merch. We're pretty heavily along in that process. We have property. We've gone the business loan route and things are looking good. But the problem is Denver. It is not cheap out here.
no.
Oh,
It's
not
not
at
cheap.
all.
Yeah.
It's not
I
cheap.
think it's like
And-
the fourth most expensive.
yeah.
I believe it.
I was in Hawaii like a week ago, and even then I'm like, I
Hawaii's
feel like,
expensive.
bro, I was just like, I feel like I need to go back to Denver now. $6 bottles of waters are not cutting it.
Imagine going to
That's
New
not
York.
even at the airport.
No, bro.
Mhm.
But what it's come down to is, we're exploring other options too. I'd like to break ground by the end of the summer with what we have. But what Denver needs and what the car scene needs is a property out east in the boonies where it's farmland. Someone needs to come together.
Have you heard of Yellow Belly?
Yellow Belly? I've heard of
Something
it.
like that.
Yeah, I've heard it. At
Yeah.
the racetrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's a little bit of a bumpy track.
Yeah. It's very sketchy, but
But what
it's a place. Yeah.
what the scene needs is whether it's us or us combining with another group, maybe even Slush, is these groups need to come together and buy a large property and build a parking lot.
We're going to pause this podcast briefly just to talk about one of our sponsors, YourCarbonSource. You want carbon fiber? YourCarbonSource. You want to have lightweight material? YourCarbonSource. Doesn't matter what you got. You can have a Porsche, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Audi, BMW. YourCarbonSource is the place to go. Check them out at YourCarbonSource.com.
Not a parking garage, because we all know how those meets go.
Yeah.
But a big parking lot or a motorsports complex. And they need to have a building where people can, like something like this, where they can come out, hang inside, watch movies, buy merch, talk to each other, meet new people, maybe even lease it out, detailing, wraps, whatever it may be. And that way the community has this spot for Monday through Sunday. And these groups can, pay $100 a month or a meet or whatever it is to host meets there.
Yeah.
But now you don't have to worry about the housing nearby. You don't have to worry about residents complaining. You got a spot where, maybe you can even cordon off to do a legal burn pit. Maybe you put in a 1/4-mile strip, or you have a spot where it's a circle drag. I know Bandamir's working on something crazy. I don't know the details, but I know they're going to do something
do
crazy.
something really good.
But I think in terms of night meets and day meets for the street scene, for those who don't want to go sit at the track all day, and I love going to the track, but there needs to be that option for a large enough property to have these meets where even if law enforcement has to come out and sit on the edge of the property, that's what the scene needs.
Okay.
That's really
I
what
agree.
it needs.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I can see that happening. I think that's definitely the direction that should, be taken.
Yeah.
I wish we can have multiple of them. That'd be
Dude,
awesome.
for real.
The more the merrier.
It's the property, man. It's expensive.
Yeah. But again, this is another side of
Yep.
doing meets that we don't see,
100%.
like brainstorming. You
Yeah.
guys are trying to figure out what to do next, how to innovate. What would you say is the main differences between today's car culture and in the past? And do you like today's car culture better, or do you want to go back in time?
I wouldn't say I want to change anything. I think that car culture will always evolve, no matter what, and whether we like it or not. I think that with the new generations coming in, things are bound to change, even if you educate them or not. It's just a matter of guiding them the right way. So sure, they might have their flaws, but at least they're educated on what to do and what not to do with those flaws. You know what I mean? And I would say for me, it's law enforcement again, man. Law enforcement's the big heavy presence out here. The rule breakers, it gets worse every year. So
Definitely a little bit easier back then.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But again, we host these massive meets, so regulating them definitely gets a little harder when,
Finding big enough parking lots.
Dude,
There's not many big enough parking lots.
I need some more buggies, man.
Yeah.
Lots are the same size, and we have like so many more million people in this state than 10 years ago or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So,
But it says a lot about car culture and how it keeps growing, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I think that's awesome.
I think Bandamere is in for a great season when they open back up.
I think so too.
I really think
man.
so.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane.
Do you guys have any other plans in the future with SLS?
I mean,
Well, we're gonna start doing some summer shows. So paid shows. We're gonna have a lot more show cars. We're working with a couple YouTubers, a couple celebrities who are big in the car culture. T-Pain,
Sick.
we're working on trying to do something in the next couple seasons to whether it's a concert car meet, something like that.
crazy.
I think that'd
Yeah.
be sick.
That'd be sick.
The new generation don't understand T-Pain music like we do.
T-Pain is
He's goated. That's the goat.
Yeah.
But everything's on the table. Whether we start up a YouTube or TikTok, we're just out here
we're
trying to
always
make
thinking
it.
of different
Yeah.
things, so how we can, better ourselves, better the community. You know what I mean?
100%.
Keep it fun for everybody. So.
Yeah.
Keep it a regulated fun for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like sometimes as like doing what we do, like we don't always realize the impact that we have on the people or the, the generations, but it's like, sometimes it takes for a young person or somebody to kind of tell me like, man, I've been coming here and watching you guys for all these years. And like before I had this, but now I'm doing this. I'm just like, dang, like that's what really opens
We got
my
to watch
eyes to
so many people grow.
Yeah.
Dude, I had this one kid. Oh my God. He would come out when I first started hosting for SLS, and every Saturday he would come out with his dad and he would buy a sticker, no matter what. Even if we didn't have new colors, he's like, I want to buy a sticker. And, the dad's like, okay. But, he came out, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. And I mean, he's like 6 years older now. And I'm just like, where did time go? Like, you're a senior?
Yeah.
goes by just
What?
like that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like,
Definitely.
Kids
you're
I watch like this are
graduating?
like 20 now. I'm like,
Yeah,
dang.
it's insane.
Jeez.
It's kind of crazy to see it, but then it reminds me how old I'm getting.
Yeah. I got a question for y'all. So, at the meets, whenever you do run into the knuckleheads, I'd say if you have an average, what type of cars are these guys driving? Is it usually a certain type of car? Like,
Infinities,
Infinities,
G35s,
BMWs,
G37s,
like
all you
Challengers,
guys.
What
Chill
are you,
out.
What are you
Yeah.
seeing? Like, who's the craziest out here?
It's the Infinities, man.
Infinities?
Yeah.
Some of the Volkswagens though with the pop tunes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There's
yeah.
this-
Oh, the Volkswagen.
There's this one.
My
and
guys
He's
are
my
guilty.
he's my boy. But there's this one damn, what is it? A Jetta? That old boxy.
Yes.
Is that
it's
the
a
one that's
Jetta.
like
It's like
deafeningly
deafening.
loud?
Is it red?
Yeah, I think it's red or is it blue?
I think it's.
I
I think
think
there's
it's
one of
red.
each.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
for
you're
real.
right.
But he comes
Yeah.
out every
Oh,
weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend, and it's always at the first spot. Boom, boom, and you'll hear from across the parking lot.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh my God. And I'll have the talk with him, like, bro, we've had this talk how many times? He's like, I know, I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's like, bro, you can't come back if you're gonna keep doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm done. And then he'll be great the rest of the night. He won't do anything.
Yep.
He's like the star, person you want at the meets. But then we reset every Saturday. But get your people, Infinities, Volkswagens,
BMWs.
BMWs, bro. Oh
For
my
us, I think it's a
Lord.
lot of
Occasional
the-
Mustang too.
For us, I think it's a lot of the Mopars
Yep.
and a lot of the trucks.
Trucks too. Yeah.
Ah,
The trucks get
yeah,
wild.
yeah.
Some of the
Yeah,
trucks get a little
definitely
crazy.
the Mopars.
Yeah.
But the thing is, muscle cars that are rear wheel drive, I'll say all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love Mustang. Like,
Yeah.
like,
You're a
I
Mustang
understand,
guy, we
you
know.
know what I'm saying? But the
We all
people
know.
who crash their Mustang don't actually know how to drive them.
Mm.
In my opinion, like I never had an issue with mine. Like,
Losing control.
yeah,
or
like I
anything
was,
like that.
I'm honestly confused on how it happens so
It's a
often.
I think
Driver
it's
vibe.
it's people buying
Yeah.
into cars that they're not ready for.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah.
That's a big thing. Back in the day, people didn't have all this power.
No,
No.
You know,
you were making
That's a
like
huge
300
thing that
or
changed
I
something.
remember
the
when like
scene.
750 was like
but power
fast.
was
Right,
more
like crazy.
Power was more important back then.
Yeah.
It definitely was.
Mhm.
Like what you were pushing was like,
I think power changed the scene in its own way.
Oh,
Definitely.
you know,
100%.
yeah.
And now email
Like-
gives
but
you
now it's
200
so much
horsepower.
power that it's like people are.
For real.
I don't know. they're
Now,
into it a
like,
little bit.
power turned into an ego contest in,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. You know,
I remember when, and I'm not going to name names, but I remember there's this group of guys who, they were just the fast boys. And this
Mhm.
was like 4 years ago. And it was like, oh, damn, he's making, how much? He's making 1,200? Like, yeah, like nobody's topping that. And it was just be shit talk all over
Mhm.
Facebook.
Yeah.
And now it's like, nah, power's overrated, player. Like, nah.
Yeah.
Like,
now
you need
it's
to get a
overrated.
lamb. You need to get a lamb. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how the cocky guys are.
Yeah.
Shit.
I like power though,
Yeah.
and the thing with the lambs though, they're the fastest on the street. If you really think about it, when it
What are
comes
we
to
talking twin
when it comes to
turbo?
road
Yeah,
racing,
once you do all
look-
that.
yeah, that's what I'm
okay,
saying.
okay,
That's what I'm
Not
saying.
like, yeah,
to
okay.
build, they're actually like
Yeah.
a jet on the ground.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
Of course.
like
They
you
planned
can,
it, yeah.
You can look at a McLaren, you can look at a Ferrari, but they're not pushing power like a horse,
No.
like a herd,
Yeah.
herd
Or like
does.
R35s, but
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
remember when it was, so I had an R35. I had a GTR for a while. And it was one of my favorite cars that I've ever owned.
Mhm.
But all the guys kept asking me, like, why don't you big turbo it? I was full bolt on E85.
yeah.
And I had a blast. I would win some and I'd lose some. I think that when you have too much power, it gets boring.
Yeah.
Because then you're just smoking everybody. What's the point?
Right.
Like, everyone knows what your car does.
Mhm.
They're not going to pull up to you no more. So I loved being in the R35.
So what's the sweet spot for power? You think?
My personal opinion, I'll let these guys answer, but my opinion is like anywhere from 7 to like 850. You can win some, but you can be humbled.
Yeah.
You know what
for
I mean?
Sure.
Okay.
And you're hanging with a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think it's good for you. You
I
can't
think
you can't
so.
always win.
Yeah.
You gotta have a
You
little
don't,
fun.
yeah, you don't.
Chase is a race.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't wanna
Those
lose.
L's, those
I don't like
losses
losing.
turned into
They
a lot of
humble you.
lessons for us.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
What about you? What do you
Definitely.
think?
I
Sweet
drive,
spot for power.
I drive a GTI. I can't really, comment
I used to
on
drive
the
a
big
GTI,
speed
bro.
thing here.
I used to
it's-
have one too.
Don't let them be humble.
It's maxed out. I hang out with Hellcats and stuff. It's all gutted. It's light. It makes good power. But
Yeah.
I mean, my 400, 500 horsepower car is great. I keep up with 95% of the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big chilling.
Facts.
Yeah. I,
And you
you
put
know,
400 or 500 on a Honda too. That feels way different.
it weighs nothing.
dude.
Yeah.
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 That's like 1,000 in a Beamer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn
That's
near.
true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sure. I have a little 96 Acura Integra USDM, and I'll be driving that thing down the road. It maybe makes 200 horsepower, hitting VTEC. I'm having the most fun in the world,
Yeah.
bro. Like, I don't care about having like hundreds and hundreds of horsepower. You know,
Honestly, what I want,
I just love the experience.
I want a loud turbo noise.
Mm.
I
Yep.
want a nice sounding exhaust,
Mhm.
and I want something that's gonna put me back in the seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's what we
That's
all
it.
want. Yeah.
Smiles, smiles per gallon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
If
Until
it does
it breaks.
that, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good.
Back to
But yeah,
premium.
that's honestly why I haven't built a crazy fast car is because I know a lot of people fast cars and seeing the amount of money that they put into it
Oh,
and
yeah.
it just breaks. Like I couldn't deal with that. That would be
It's heart wrenching at
yeah,
points.
It
Yeah.
is.
I remember I blew the trans in the GTR once, and I got that repair bill. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
god,
I'm hurting.
It was
like
not
that,
pretty.
that hurt.
I'm not trying to see that, you know? Yeah.
As an enthusiast, just out of curiosity, how many cars do you think a car enthusiast should have? You know, because like we all have our different like.
I'm not sure I want to give up my number because I know how many I've had. It's bad.
I think 4 is a good number.
For just
Yeah.
like currently owning 4.
Like
you
at
think
one
4
time?
works for you?
At one time?
At one time,
Yeah, at one time.
Yeah, one time. I think that's good.
Yeah, I think you got to have your daily.
Yep.
But of course, you're going to mod that daily. So you got to have
Yes.
the daily for the daily, right?
Yes.
And that daily for the daily, you're not going to mod,
Right.
right? That's the 94 Civic with 300,000 miles
Yeah,
on it,
yeah.
4-door, no
For
tint.
sure.
But then you got the race car, and then you got the real race car. I
Mhm.
think 4 is perfect.
4 is good.
Yeah.
Hey, I think you're forgetting something.
Oh.
I feel like
The
everyone's
workhorse. You gotta have a truck too.
Yeah, so I
man.
feel like
Oh,
everyone
right.
has
But
to
see,
have a
but
truck.
that's
To pull the race car.
but you got to have enough power to pull the race car. You got to justify the trailer expense, the truck.
That's true.
So if you're making what, like
400.
if you're making like 400 horsepower out of a 135 BMW, just for example,
I see what you're saying.
you need a trailer and truck,
Probably not.
or is it for show? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's
Well,
for show,
flex.
go for it. Go for it. I ain't hating,
I mean,
but yeah, if you got the power for it, yeah, absolutely need a
but
workhorse.
Well,
devil's
sometimes the car is
advocate-
down and you need to just like move it around or
Yeah.
whatever.
that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
or if you have a drift car, some people don't have fast drift cars.
Mhm.
You want to drive your slam
time
drift
attack
car
cars.
to the hour
you know what I
away.
mean? Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Those
Or
four
the super
cars.
slam cars, you know, the cars that are only for show.
Mm.
Yeah,
Those
that's
are-
fair. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely need a workhorse for those.
And there's a lot of people out there with really nice built cars, but
Mhm.
they can't drive it. But that's a whole nother side of being a car enthusiast.
Mhm.
Some people do it for the art aspect of it.
Oh yeah.
Would you say you do it for the art aspect of it? Are you more on the experience side? Like, what is it that gets you going about?
I love just pulling away from people. That's the best part. I don't
I'd
care
have
what
to
my
say
car looks
power
like.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't
You like
care.
the performance.
It's that
Yeah.
power.
I got a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old son, and for me, it's when I push the accelerator, when I see him go, grip his car seat,
Yeah.
and I'm like, did you not like that? Go fast, daddy. I'm like, oh, okay,
Say
bet,
less.
yeah, like that's what does it for me. So
Yeah.
power,
Yeah.
definitely
yeah.
power.
That makes sense.
I think I'm a little bit of both. Like I really like aesthetics, you know,
Yeah, for
especially
sure.
like lately, like just seeing like this car behind us, this E30, just like with the 3-piece wheels. I'm like, man, it just completes the look so much, and that's not a car you want to beat on, you know, like
Right.
different aspects of it for sure.
Mine's a combination, but the experience is definitely very important.
Oh, for sure.
But I also
100%.
like, I wish I could drive a car and look at myself in 3D or
Yeah,
how
see
you
how
say-
you look.
Yeah, I want to see how
Like
I
a
look.
third
person view,
yeah, yeah,
I want to
yeah.
be on the highway and I want to be the one looking at my car.
Right,
You know,
right,
like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I
Yeah.
like the car, but we don't get to do that.
I
So
think-
the cockpit is.
That's
very-
why I like having a clean
Super
interior.
important.
That's all I get to
Yeah,
enjoy while I'm
yeah,
driving
yeah,
this
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That's why I want a Huracan, bro. Because
That's
I
exactly
know
what-
I know the Lamb got the exhaust done, but I mean, if I could get like just 900 out of a Huracan, bro,
Bro, it feels like
I'm set.
it feels
set.
like you're in a jet.
I'm set.
That like they make it very like when you start getting into like the Porsches, the higher end cars, they actually make it
It's like a
To where-
cockpit. Yeah,
on the interior of the car. You feel like you're in a real race car.
yeah,
Like,
I love it.
it's a different experience. But I also love the older cars because they're more
Mhm.
raw.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Like the R34 or
Mm.
like I want a Supra,
Mhm.
like the Mark IV. Different
But
beast.
see, the thing is, I like flashy. Like the R35, everyone knows it.
yeah.
You see the taillights, you're like, that's a GTR.
yeah.
But then it's like, damn, I really want to go nostalgic on my next car. Like, I want an R34. Or damn, I want a Mark IV Supra. Like,
Yeah.
they look good.
They do. They do.
But then it's like, all right, do I give up the modern luxuries for a Mark IV Supra, big turbo?
That's why you need more cars.
Exactly.
Different car every
yeah,
day
yeah.
because you need. I would say you need a Benz or like a
Mm.
BMW, like something
Definitely.
luxurious.
Audi gang.
So
Audi gang.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. I like American Muscle. I like JDM.
I'm stuck in the 90s JDM, but then like I sold my GTI and now I'm like, dang, like I missed the speakers in that thing, dude. Like that thing used to thump.
Yeah.
Like I missed that a lot. That's one thing I'm like, dang, like the Hondas sound cool and all that, but like I gotta add my own speakers to make this
Right.
thing sound nice.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
No more heated seats. That's all right.
Yeah, they all have like their different.
Their own experience.
Yeah,
like
their
you were
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Exactly.
Their
I
own
don't-
personalities, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can let go of their cars though. Like you had quite a few cars. How do you even get yourself to sell it? Because when I do it, I'm like,
You know,
it's like one of the worst feelings, to be honest.
all
and I always
my
say I'm gonna buy it
friends-
back, or I'm gonna get another one. Again,
Yeah,
one
I
day.
remember the buy it back thing.
I
I'm
have
still
no
going
idea
through
why.
that. You know, when I sold my R35, it was very special to me.
When
know,
you
it was-
came out with it, we was like,
oh yeah,
shit.
nobody knew.
He
Because
came out-
I went out, I flew out
Yeah.
to New Orleans, I paid for it in cash, I drove it back with one of my boys. And the day I got back, I drove overnight. The morning I got back, I went straight to Gearhead, the meetup in Loveland. And everyone was like, what? And I fell in love with the car.
Yeah.
I fell in love with the reactions to the car, the power. I had some of the greatest races in that car. And, you know, I found out I was having a son about a year later. And that was about the time I got that repair bill for that transmission. And I looked at it and I was like, diapers, transmission, you know. And
That's a hard pinnacle.
It was a hard choice.
Yeah.
And, you know, and realistically, you know, I did the right thing. You know, because I wouldn't have been able to justify the expense for an R35 going big turbo, making 1,000 plus, and having a newborn.
See, that completely makes sense. But what about the cars before that? Without the kid, without
you know, I think it's the itch to always go faster, but it's never easy giving up a car.
Especially
Ever.
when you've put a lot of hours and
dude.
time into, dude.
I had
That's the hardest.
But
thing for
I
me.
see people have 40, 50 cars. They buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. I'm like, what?
I can't do it because I get addicted.
I get
Yeah, like-
attached too.
Yeah,
I
me
got
too.
attachment
Like,
issues with
yeah,
it. I'm like,
yeah.
I got it for a reason.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yo,
can't let it go.
yo.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
One thing I will say is, you know, and I'm sure Jacob can kind of agree to this, right? So we both work for dealerships. So we're seeing these cars come in, you know, every single day, and we're like, dang, that's a nice car. I kind of want that.
Oh
car.
yeah.
Right.
GM's like, hey, you can have it for this price. You serious? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool, then I'll take it. You know what I mean? So
Dang,
It's
yeah.
too
I-
easy. It's too
it
easy
is.
to buy
It
cars.
is, and it becomes. It's kind of like a bad habit because we're just constantly switching in and out of cars all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think right now I've been in and out of a car about
Almost
every year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At least.
it's
Pretty
about
much.
every year.
At one
Yeah.
point, I had like 7 cars on my driveway, like,
Wow.
and then I had to downsize. I'm at 3 cars now, so that's why I'm like 4 is a good number. You know what I mean? But
Need one more.
With going crazy like that, because I know how car people are. Do you have anybody to like ground you? You know, because like I for me, if I see something that I want and like I'm just spending it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, dang, that probably wasn't a good idea. But I don't have nobody to tell me like,
Yeah,
nah, you
but then
shouldn't,
people walk
you
up to you
know?
like, "Oh, you got money, you got rich." It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
like,
just
I
spend my
don't-
money.
I'm
different.
just
Yeah,
really
right,
bad
right.
Yeah,
with this.
I just
bro.
spend my money different.
Yeah.
Eating ramen every night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, we work hard and we play hard.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
if I want
true.
to spend my money, I'm spending my money.
Well, I seen a clip the other day. I think it was on Instagram, and it was like, "You're not a real car enthusiast if you get bored of cars."
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they ain't lying. Bored of cars?
Yeah,
Never.
I don't know, man. I don't think I can get bored of cars.
Well, think about it. Someone who buys a car
Hmm.
and they get bored.
Oh,
And they
like
don't want
bored
the car
with
no
a
more.
Oh, so
certain
then
so
they
it's
buy another
bored of
car.
a certain
Right.
car, not
Right.
bored of
Yeah,
cars in
okay.
general.
I see.
Yeah.
I
But
see.
then it's
Okay.
like you keep going up and you get to a certain
No,
point.
that's-
I've met people, they got to a certain point where they had so many cars that they don't really even look at them the same.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
car.
It's just like,
I think it just kind of depends.
I think
on
it
the
comes down to
people.
your reasoning.
Yeah.
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 Do you guys have like dream cars?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I have cars that like I'll probably get someday and all that, but I don't feel like I like have a dream car. You know?
I did.
Like to wake up,
I
like
definitely did.
you
yeah.
wake up, walk out your garage, and it's magically there. Like that's it. That's the car.
Yeah.
You don't have one of those?
Like
Some of the
do.
cars I've
yes and no, but like I don't know. I guess I think when I think of dream car, I think of like something that's unattainable. I guess
Yes
But-
and no. Yes and no.
I don't know.
I'm a big visionary, and like the cars that I ended up buying throughout my life, at some point, like I literally heard them when I was asleep, or like I can dream about it. Like I literally visionally, like
You're
I-
manifesting it without
yeah,
even
I
trying.
actually see it. Like,
Yeah.
and those are like the dream cars because it's like
Okay.
I don't know what
Popped
it
up in
is,
my
but it's
dream.
like yeah,
Yeah.
I think,
in reality, in my dream, and like
yeah.
the Huracan,
You just popped out with that too, out of like nowhere.
Yeah.
bro, that's been a goal for so long, so long.
I thought it was a
Like,
troll post when I saw it. I was like, nah,
You
nah,
had
get
to
that.
look at the date.
Yeah, I had to
real
look
quick,
at it.
I
was
think it's
like,
the greatest
call
car
this man up
ever.
real quick.
I just think it's the greatest car ever.
Yeah,
That's
I
and I
agree.
really wanted to chase after it. That was
Mhm.
like a huge goal of mine. But like that car gives us a crazy experience. But I used to think about having a Huracan all the time. Like I could
Mhm.
hear the V10
Oh yeah,
in my head. You know what I mean? I can hear it.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
and now to actually hear it is like, dang.
that's how it was.
Yeah.
Like, so the R35 was my dream car for a long time.
Right.
I never thought I'd own a GTR, And the day I picked it up, I remember I went through a tank of gas in like, I think it was under an hour.
You was
Wow.
scrambling.
Yeah, bro. 'Cause I was at sea level, you know,
Yeah.
I was tuned for sea level, so I was getting down.
Yeah.
And my boy who was with me, Vic, he was like, dude, you need gas. And I looked down, I was like, and that's when I kind of realized, like, this is real. Like, I'm not asleep. Like, I'm in a GTR. I'm driving a GTR back to my house. I'm going to wake up tomorrow in a GTR. Like,
Then you go in the garage and it's like,
yeah. And then you do, you know, you walking away and you
Yeah.
looking back, even though it's at your house, you can look at any time.
yeah.
Jeez.
I did that for like a week, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I just would not stop looking at it.
It's like
Yeah.
a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I remember when I brought it back, my girlfriend at the time, you know, it was one of her dream cars, and I took her for a ride in it, just to surprise my little brother. And I just remember she was grinning ear to ear. And my little brother was, you know, I have a viral video on my Instagram of me pulling up, surprising my little brother, and he's like, no fucking way, no fuck, you know, and it's just, that's the drug. Just seeing you attain your goals, but also seeing, you know, people who support you.
It is. Yeah.
That's just, I mean, it's addicting.
I agree.
Jeez.
And seeing what other people do with what
Oh yeah.
you got. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, if someone has a Honda, I'm sure you're looking up Honda content.
Mhm.
Of course.
You got a
Yeah,
Mustang, you're looking
yeah.
up Mustang content.
Right.
Then you're like, oh, I see the potential and how far I can take it.
TikTok is dangerous, bro. I'll be seeing.
I don't
I'll be
I don't
seeing-
ever be on TikTok.
Oh,
like
bro,
listening.
I see car mods on there all the time, like race cars. I'm just like, ooh, I can see myself in that.
Jeez.
Definitely.
RS6 all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Today's days are crazy to me because, like, you know, there's young kids in the scene,
Mm.
and it might be their first or second car, and they already have like something big,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
M3 comp or
Yeah.
There's a
like,
bunch of BMWs.
you know,
Oh,
stuff
check
like
out.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, these kids are like just getting it too early.
Time
And, like, I
has
could tell they don't respect
changed.
it yet,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm like, dude, like I
Then you
get
the
it, it's
cocky
fun,
kids, too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fun and it's cool, but at the same time, like, we had to work our way up to that. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? And I think that's where a lot of the different respect in the cars and just the scene comes
Yeah.
from. You know, a lot of these kids, they're handed 500 horsepower for their first couple cars or something like that. And you're like, what? That's unheard of, you know, from
is, yeah.
back in the
Definitely.
day.
Mhm.
So-
My
Oh,
first
yeah.
car was a 99 Saab 9.3.
Those are
Yep.
great.
And they don't even make them anymore.
Sounds were
Nah.
great.
No.
It's an awesome car, but finding parts for that car
Impossible.
Oh, no.
was
No way.
impossible.
Yeah.
I had
The
a,
bills for that car, ridiculous.
These kids don't got to struggle like that.
Yeah.
I
You
had
know?
a 97 Civic. Green. It was the ugliest color. It was dented to hell. God, 230,000 miles on it. It's a 5-speed manual. I had to learn how to drive manual in it. And I mean, oh God, it was ugly. But I would trade that car for any car that I've had because it was reliable.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know, all these kids out here modding their cars now, and then they complain when they break. Bro, I'd kill to have a Honda again.
Bro, that's
And
what I got too.
I used to. Did you guys plastic dip your car? I plastic dipped my car,
I did the wheels.
and I would never do
Wheels
it
for
again.
sure, dude.
I
dipped
didn't
my
do it.
S7.
Mods.
I actually told
Hmm.
one of my friends said that they could do it, and I was like, okay,
Let's try it out.
let's try it out. Let's see.
I-
I was learning about it.
Yeah, I could peel it
Yep.
off.
So
I
we
remember
go to
that.
his garage. He plastic dips the car, but the thing, the spray was broken. So he was going like this, spraying the whole car the whole time.
Oh my,
my
god.
So I'm excited, waiting for it to be done. I spent like
Oh,
what, like $400 or
yeah,
whatever.
on the kit, yeah.
Super excited. You know, I didn't have no money.
Yeah. Just trying to do something.
Finished
for
the
your
car. It was like, what do they call it, a rat rod? But you touch the car, it was furry all around.
Yeah,
He
it's
was
like bumpy. It's
yeah,
like,
he was like, don't worry about it. It's gonna settle in. Like, just,
No,
it never
just-
did,
let's
huh?
just
Park
wait
in the
till
sun for a little
tomorrow.
bit.
Yeah, let's wait till tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Wake up the
plastic
next
dip.
day, went straight to the car wash and took it off. And I was hurt.
Bro, I
Like,
plastered
so
in my S7. I didn't want to wrap it, and I like plastic dip because they offer some pretty cool colors.
Mhm.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy a kit. I'm gonna do it, and I did it. And I bought it was like $500 kit, army green.
It was dope.
It was a cool color. It looked
You
good.
couldn't even tell it was a dip.
Nah,
Until you
and
got
I did it in
close.
my garage in like 6 hours. Like I took.
I saw
everything
that
out of the
car and I
garage.
literally thought that was a wrap.
Yeah, a lot of people, and mind you, I thought it looked horrible, but I mean, I guess I did decent on it.
It's the best deal. I think new car enthusiasts
Yeah.
should go through that experience.
I do
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
definitely.
100%.
For sure.
Dipping
Because
your wheels.
Before you could even wrap a car, like
Yeah.
it was plastic dip. It was like,
Yeah,
this type of
dude.
stuff.
Plastic dip
Badge,
was the
the
stuff,
badges.
bro.
yeah,
The wheels.
And then like, but I remember peeling it off was the hardest thing.
it was. It definitely
I
was.
spent. I'm not kidding. I spent 4 hours in a car wash at 2:00 in the morning one night because I was just like, I can't do the dip. I just can't do it anymore.
Taking it off.
Oh, bro, it was the worst. My fingers were like raw from like just trying to peel.
Dude.
But yeah, everyone needs to go through the plastic dip phase.
They definitely,
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's a humbling experience.
That
It is a
night
very
shade too.
humbling experience.
The night
You
shade.
know.
You guys remember the night shade where you had to darken the tail lights and the headlights, spraying that on,
yeah.
man? Oh
Yeah,
my god.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that stuff was cheap. Dude.
You know what I think we need to bring back? Only on certain cars,
What's that?
underglow.
Underglow.
no,
I like
agree,
underglow
I
on
agree.
certain
If
cars.
it's
I
done
don't
right,
know.
it looks good. You
I've
know
seen
what I
some
mean?
Ferraris with underglow that look hard.
We got
Paul.
We got Paul. He's one of our guys. He has that matte black 370 twin turbo 370Z.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Show car to shit, you know.
Yep.
And he's got killer underglow on it. And
Yeah.
I don't like underglow.
Is that the one with the
I
TV
don't-
in the back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Honestly, I don't like it, but if it's done on the right car, I actually like it a
agree.
lot.
Yeah.
Like the car has to be in mint condition. It has to look really good.
I
It
think
can't
it's-
just be the whole car's jacked up and then you got
I think it's
underglow.
funny when like
Right.
kids bring out like their, I'm not hating on it. Like do your thing, it's cool. But like their parents' Jeep Liberty and they threw on the AutoZone special underneath.
Mhm.
You know, it's like red on this side, green on this side.
Man.
I'm just like, oh,
Do you think you guys see a lot of that stuff at like your meets still?
We still do.
we
yeah.
still do, yeah.
Yeah.
We
You see the
get-
craziest stuff.
We get anything from the AutoZone special to the Lambo boys come out.
Did you have
Right.
Ice Spice driving around your parking lot for a couple of months?
Somebody with the Ice Spice flag.
Yeah.
out the back of the
Yes.
car.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was great.
yeah.
We got
I
the
remember
Banana
that.
Squad.
I was like, what was the
We
inspiration
do
behind
have the
that?
Banana Squad. We
You know
got
what I
these. This
Shout out
group-
to Banana Squad.
Yeah, huge shout
You're
out
the
to Banana
best.
Squad. They come out. In
I
these
just wonder where this
banana costumes.
inspiration comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But
I mean,
as you learn, you get better. You're like,
Yeah.
what I did was
yeah. Oh yeah, plenty of learning
Yeah,
moments in the
yeah.
past.
I think that was a big difference I noticed, like with the night meets and day meets, like obviously the night meets is at
Yeah.
night. So like you can't always see all the little quality details on
Yeah.
the car and
Mhm.
like what's going on. And then the day meets, obviously it's a little
see
easier to see.
everything.
And then
Yeah.
some people with maybe nicer cars or something they keep a little cleaner might come out just
Yeah.
because like,
Yeah.
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
I think that's where the grace and compassion comes from, is because when you're trying to educate someone who hasn't had the experience that we had
Mhm.
and we used to do these things, it's like you have to have that patience.
Yeah.
It takes time for people to learn this. And a lot of people, they'll reach out to us and say, when someone does something bad at the meet, they'll have a comment about it. But my experience, 10 times out of 10 or 9 times out of 10, actually, sometimes it's really old dudes that will break the rules at meets.
Yeah.
I'm not
True,
gonna lie.
Yeah,
true.
bro.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
old
Oh, yeah.
heads, I think they're above everybody.
9 times out of 10, it's someone young that's like entering into the car
Mhm.
culture.
Yes.
car scene.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we spoke about earlier. It's like who educates them, who gives them that space to learn how to be a car enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what does it mean to be a car enthusiast? How do you be a car enthusiast? What is car enthusiast etiquette?
Wow.
Yako.
Oh wow. I eat, sleep, and breathe cars. I get up. I've been selling cars for 5 years. So every minute of my day is just cars. I'm trying to make my car faster. I'm trying to sell other people cars. It's buying cars from people. It never ends. It's
Mhm.
I dream about it. I literally it doesn't stop.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So what are the do's and don'ts of a car enthusiast?
You gotta
What are
do
the
the
do's?
do-
Let's-
you gotta
let's go
no
to
you
those
gotta
do's.
do the
Yeah.
don'ts to learn.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
you gotta plasti dip your wheels and mess it up one time and peel it off to know.
That's a bar. Yeah.
It's all part of becoming a Marcus, a Carlos, a
Yeah.
Phil.
Mhm.
It's everyone's got to take those steps to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And everyone losing a race just because your car's just
Slow.
doesn't have that
It's
one
slow.
that
Yeah.
doesn't have the one mod.
Just don't put too much money on the race.
Right. Yeah. It's everyone's going to lose a race, but you're
Yeah.
going to win races too. And it's part of being in the car scene, part of being,
Yeah.
the lifestyle.
Exactly.
Do you think the strictly organized drag racing nights should exist in car culture?
Like
If-
on the street?
I feel like that's like
If there's
is
a time,
what's
if there's a
missing.
place to do it safely.
Yeah.
There
I
used to
think-
be more safe places to do it.
Yeah.
Then
But
there
now-
are now, yeah.
But now a lot of people aren't taking charge to take that responsibility to host stuff like that.
I think, yes. I think it needs to happen, honestly. Because
In a healthy way. It got
Yeah.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
It used to
Oh,
be
yeah.
it used to be healthy. The way people competed it was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Then it just got super unhealthy. Like people were
Mhm.
fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Bring their
Cars were
drama,
getting flipped
you know what I
over.
mean?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, my Lord.
Set
so
on
if
fire.
that changes and it goes back to the,
Yeah.
just you don't
Yeah.
have to like the person.
Show
just-
up, watch a race.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like a basketball game.
Mhm.
You show up, you play the basketball game. You don't need to take it any further than that.
Yep.
You're competing.
I
You
agree.
don't have to like each other, but you don't have to disrespect each other.
Right.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the current issues in the scene too, man. Is you get some of these newbies that come out to the scene and they think they're hot shit. You know, Beamers are a huge platform right now, and we see a lot more Beamers than we did like a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
But you get these kids who
They're
come
like
out,
the New Day
yeah,
S197.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
yeah.
And they think they're hot shit because they downpiping a tune on the new Beamers. I mean,
You're moving.
you're moving,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You move
but
so-
the trash talking that's a lot more heavy now.
Because you can hide.
100%.
Yeah,
And the internet,
Hide,
you
yeah.
know, like
Mhm.
it's huge.
But it's like, I love the competition side of things. Like,
Yeah.
if people knew me, I grew up, I played sports my whole life. I ran track, played
Yeah.
basketball, played football. Like, I never was not doing sports.
You're competitive.
And when you see me play basketball, I talk trash, but it's in the most, like, I have no drama. Like, I shake hands with you
Competitive
after.
way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
competitive.
That's what
You're
you
just
do
backing
with
it up.
But when
Yeah.
you could take things so competitively and do it at a high level and then not turn it into drama,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost the best thing. Like think about Ford and Chevy. Right?
Oh yeah,
They
of course.
compete with each other.
All
The
the
reason
time.
why we have such great platforms is because companies compete with each other.
Of
Mhm.
course,
Right.
yeah.
They have to. That's how
They didn't
things
settle.
innovate. That's how things get better.
Yep.
If we don't have that healthy space, that healthy competition, the healthy leader,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it's gone. It's lost.
Yeah,
Sure.
But I think
I
it
agree.
needs to come back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it takes a special person. It really does to handle stuff like that.
I just
Really
think
does.
this new generation, man, is just so heavy on the drama aspect.
They're all rage
Yeah.
baiters. you know?
Yeah,
Half the
dude.
content is
Oh,
rage
my
bait.
God.
Yeah,
It's your
that's
car's
Yeah.
slow. This car can't beat me. And
that's
it's
all
just-
they see
yeah.
and
Yeah.
hear on the internet. So it's like that's what they become.
And then they want to fight, but then they never fought a day in their
Nah,
life.
Nope.
let the cars talk. Honest to God, just let the cars talk.
Yeah.
Seriously.
seriously.
It's
If
the
you
ego,
lose, you
yeah.
lose. Chase is a
Mhm.
race.
It is what it
It
is.
is what it
Yeah.
is.
Sometimes you need to be humbled.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now people do race dirty too, though.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh dude. This motherfucker, bro. I got too many videos of my best friend going on too. I swear to Jesus, bro. I swear.
I think another thing that can help the scene, honestly, is like, and I still hear this like to this day every now and then, but like, you have your new guys that come in and
Mhm.
like, we all started at that point, like where we didn't know much.
Yeah.
And, they ask questions and stuff like that. And I do see guys nowadays like, blowing kids off or thinking their shit don't stink,
Yeah.
and like they don't really want to extend that information or, give somebody the time of day. So it's like, I wish people had like more patience or just that humbleness to take yourself back to when you were a beginner.
We all started somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
that would help the
Yeah.
scene a lot too.
That's where that grace and compassion comes
Yep.
from.
Yep.
That experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it takes specific people to carry that torch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People
does.
like you
It
guys.
does.
It's
Yeah.
tiring, man. I'm gonna be real. It is tiring
Yeah.
at times.
Like people be like, "Yo, you going to SLS?" I'm like, I wish, but
I gotta be up tomorrow.
like
yeah, for real.
I'm
Yeah.
exhausted. Like,
yeah.
and I know you guys got things that you guys are dealing with, but we have our communication when it's
Yeah.
needed.
Oh, of course.
you know,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
I think again back to that point that people fail to realize that we're human beings.
Right.
I got a family at home. I'm
Right.
leaving every Saturday night because this is my hobby. This is my passion.
Yep.
And so I'm leaving my family home on Saturday nights to come out and do this for the public, for you guys.
Yeah.
And so just remember, like, I've dedicated my adult life to y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say thank you to these guys because like I feel like I'm old. I go to sleep early.
Bro,
Like,
I feel like I need
y'all
to
be
go to
out
sleep
till
early, bro.
2,
Yeah.
3 a.m. I'm like, oh,
They
my
used to
goodness.
it.
Working
Yeah.
a 12-hour
I can
shift.
only do that when I was young.
The
like,
meets
and I'm
have
not even
ruined
old.
my sleep schedule.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Like during the week, like there's times where I'm up till 3:15 in the morning, and I'm just like, oh my god,
That's
I
wild.
can't do this.
Yeah, that's why
I'm taking like 100 milligrams of melatonin to go to bed.
Jeez.
It's just like, oh my
I'm in bed
god.
by like 9, 10 o'clock.
Oh my
Eventually,
God.
I
wish.
there's gonna be a day where there's somebody else sitting in these same seats that we are.
Mhm.
Oh,
you
definitely.
know,
Oh, yeah.
and kind of leading the culture and all that. It's like we need these younger people to
Step up.
get in the right place
Yeah.
too, because we need
Yeah.
new shop owners for
Mhm.
performance shops.
Yep.
We
Mhm.
still need maintenance guys. We need all these
We need all
different
that, yeah.
things, So it's like,
The future of the car scene is in your hands.
Literally.
Literally in your
Yeah.
hands.
Mhm.
yeah,
So
we need all that, man.
yeah.
Yeah, and we get people all the time asking us like, "Hey, how did you guys do it? Like, hey, you guys have any tips?" Like,
Mhm.
we're more than happy to share, what we've done to get to where we are.
For sure.
And a lot of it is just, staying consistent, right? We didn't have
Yep.
thousands of cars coming out every week. I mean, we started
way.
out Wednesdays, right, with 10, 15, 20 cars. We were like 4 years in deep before Marcus came, and you know what I mean? Third year, we were only having 40 cars in, right? Fourth year, we were getting up there. Marcus came in, and that's when, things really started ramping up. COVID happened, and that's when things just took off. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and, I didn't know what I was doing at the time, right? I didn't have people to kind of help guide me. So I kind of figured it out myself.
Just freestyling.
Marcus came, you know what I mean? He kind of, fine tuned it a little bit, and, we were off. So
that's good. And it
you
looks
know
like,
what I mean?
looks like you guys have built something good, and I love to see it, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And Slush, you guys are awesome during the day. My son, I'll be honest, I don't take my son out to my night meets because one, it's past his freaking bedtime. And two, there's always the unpredictable.
For sure.
But I've taken him to Slush and he loves it. Mommy, daddy, race cars. It's like, yeah, we'll go look at race cars.
Yeah.
And we've been to a couple Slush meets down on the tech center. What are you doing down there? And he loves it.
I live right there, so I'm always at those ones.
Yeah.
Always.
He's like, oh, I got to drive
That's
1 minute.
awesome.
Yeah,
But
not
the
even.
daytime meets, I think nighttime meets are important, but the daytime meets are just as important.
Exactly.
Because it brings out a whole different crowd that wants to be a part of the car
100%.
scene. So, mad respect to you guys for doing the day stuff.
Likewise.
'Cause my
It's
ass in
cool.
bed.
Yeah.
I feel you. I don't blame you.
I'm glad we've all been able to just come together,
Yeah, of course,
especially in the community, just for
That's what it
everybody.
needs. Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
absolutely.
We'll definitely do a part 2.
Of course.
But
Maybe we do some more nitty gritty in part 2.
Yeah, we'll do some more nitty gritty.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions in the future you would want to know about, SLS / motorsports, running meets, events, ask the questions in the comments, and then we'll have it ready for the next podcast.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There are other groups involved in Colorado's car culture, like Nationwide. You said Los Unidos.
Nationwide.
So hopefully maybe we'll do something where we all come together and have a full
I
conversation.
think it'd be sick to do a round table with how many 100 groups?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be pretty cool to do.
Definitely.
But thank you guys. We appreciate it. Also, Slush Motorsports Festival, May 23rd and May 24th.
Yep.
Drag racing, drifting, hot laps,
Mhm.
car show, burnout pit. Like, this is the place to have fun. It's the playground for car enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And yeah, we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you, Emery, for co-hosting with us today. And
Gotcha, brother.
we'll see you at the next meet. And if you want to check out SLS, you don't know where their socials are.
Simple Lifestyle SLS on Facebook. That's pretty much where we post the most. We got our summer kickoff June 21st. Probably about 20,000 cars coming out that night. So
Nice.
hopefully we'll see you guys there.
Sweet.
Most
That'd be
definitely.
sick.
Perfect.
go.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
going to be a good summer.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Black Mountain as well for
Yes.
Yeah, huge shout out to these guys.
Yeah.
These things are
Great
sick.
This
Yeah.
place is beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
it's gorgeous.
yeah. But we'll see you guys at the next one. Thank you.